All right, so I called my buddy Shane and I was like, hey Shane, that new generator you bought for the storm, let me ask you a rhetorical question. And look, I know I'm throwing out $20 words right now. I said, but have you done anything since you shut the generator off when the power came back on? And he said, no. So here's what I want you and everybody else you know that bought a generator for this storm or own a generator to do going forward once you don't use it. We'll go into some, we'll call it winterizing, because the next time you use it is unknown. I'm not a big fan of the snake oils and stabilizers, and yes, that will give you and buy you a little bit more time. Those are conditional to how much air is in the tank, how, gas lasts longer when there's less air in a tank or in a gas can. There's less chance for condensation. I don't care if it's non-ethanol or regular pump gas, E10. But here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna service this thing. We're gonna drain the gas out of the tank here, back into this. It's only been 6 weeks since the storm, so the gas is still, quote unquote, relatively fresh. It's a good time just to go ahead and put that back in a vehicle, run it out, and I'll walk you through all the step-by-step stuff of how to winterize until the next time you use it. Super simple. I've taken the air filter cover off and the air filter out. We're going to take these 2 bolts loose just so we can have a little bit better access to removing the fuel line from the carburetor. All right, so those 2 bolts, actually it was 3. There was one back there in the bracket. Yours may vary, but that's the gist of it. And this is a brand hammer new generator. So all we're going to do is we'll take this fuel line loose and we're going to drain the fuel back into this can. Okay, the draining process has begun. Just pull the fuel line off, put it back in my gas can. There's plenty of room in here, and you can hear it's draining. It should take at least a beer's worth of time to get that to fully drain out. This is on an incline and I'm on the lower side, so we'll know we'll get all the fuel out of here. All right, while this is draining, somewhere on your carburetor, and your mileage may differ, but there's going to be a drain hole right here. And it's going to be a Phillips head, or it's going to be a 10 millimeter like this one. You want to drain the rest of this gathered fuel in the carburetor bowl and make sure that it drains and it's completely empty. All right, we're about 1 beer into the draining process. There's still plenty of fuel left in here. Grab you some WD-40 or some WD-30, whatever you have, just a lubricant. And I want you to just kind of flush this out. I want to get all the gas out of there and have just, an oil-based lubricant inside the carburetor. So that way there's no gas left in the bottom of the bowl. All right, I've replaced the plug in the bottom of the carburetor. And then over here, where the fuel line goes in, I'm actually going to spray a little bit of WD-40 in the carburetor. Not a ton, just a little bit. And that way, it'll keep any kind of corrosion from happening inside the carburetor. I've done a couple of shots straight into that fuel inlet. And then just lube all that up nice. Okay, we're an hour and a half into this. We've already burned daylight. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to take your own can of WD-30, WD-40, whatever, and then just saturate the inside of the tank. All right, we're back at the shop, and I can't stress enough how important it is to do this process, winterizing, if you want to call it that, of your generator. And again, the biggest unknown is when you'll use it the next time. It may be another year or two before you lose power, and a fuel stabilizer isn't going to keep you safe. I mean, it may, but this is a surefire thing. Even just a little bit of spraying some kind of penetrant inside the tank, just to put some kind of oil film in there to prohibit any rust from building up in there. These tanks are notorious for that. Same thing with the carburetor, just that little shot that makes sure that the butterflies are free moving the next time you need it. So you'll have some gas around the house more than likely for your lawnmower. And you can get started with that, go to the store, get some fresh gas, and keep moving. One of the other things that I see that's always troublesome type piece of equipment are hedge trimmers. Your gas-powered hedge trimmers are used once a year, maybe twice a year for most folks. Sometimes they get used every other year, and they sit and sit and sit until they get used again. We always have good intentions of like, oh yeah, I'll go ahead and drain the gas out of that, and so hopefully if you've watched to the end here, share this with somebody who bought a generator. This is a big investment. They're not cheap, even the small ones. You can let them run until they're out of fuel. It's nice to put that oil film back in there, and gas can be corrosive over time. So that's why that extra little bit of spray in the carburetor and in the tank is important. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.